trolls are giving criticism a really bad rep.
Yes.
Okay. Because the problem is criticism is something that we deal with, as designers.
All the time.
It's an important part of a designer's growth.
Yes.
You have to be able to filter all that shit. You're listening to the Angry Designer Podcast, where we help frustrated graphic designers crush the industry bull and learn what it takes to charge what you're worth and build badass, rewarding careers. In this episode, we're diving deep into the world of trolls, critics, and constructive feedback, where you're going to learn how to spot those bastard trolls, how to embrace the critics even though sometimes it doesn't seem like they're actually being positive, and how to leverage constructive input to fuel your creative growth. So whether you're a seasoned designer or just starting out, knowing how to navigate this landscape is critical for your sanity and your success as a graphic designer. Well, my friends, it's been a little while.
Welcome back.
Cheers.
How you been?
Yeah. We are drinking Jefferson's today. It's a very small batch blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. We thought we'd give something unique a try. As some of you may remember, check that bad boy out. The bottle has got like a Mr. Jefferson, President Jefferson.
President Jefferson.
Isn't it? I'm sure it's President Jefferson.
I think so.
Oh, maybe
number
not.
2 or number 1? Number 2.
Oh, jeez. You know what? I can't even say. He looks like he should be president. If he's not, I'm sorry to our American friends if I've upset you on this one, but
don't know much about
Jefferson's Reserve. Anyway,
presidents.
Regardless to say, there's a funny old Jefferson dude in the back of it who looks, quite Victorian. And we thought we'd try something really cool because it looked great.
Yeah.
I've never seen it up here in this province, so it was a nice order.
So this is from our friends from Alberta.
This is from our friends in Alberta. Yes, it is.
Nice. Here we go. Let's try.
All right, let's try
Smells
Jefferson's.
Nice. Ooh.
It's funny. It's light.
It is very light.
It's not what I would expect. Like, not at all. It's almost so light. It's like tasteless.
It's sweet, isn't it? Or is it
there is definitely a sweet undertone to this. This is actually an easy drink. Okay, so it's light on the lips. It's light on the tongue, even when you swallow. But I am getting the burn inside.
Yeah, there's a burn.
Right?
It's a nice, comforting.
It is. But there isn't strong flavor with this, which is the problem with that is. You can drink way too much in a short amount of time because you're like, I'm not getting anything on this one. I like Jefferson's.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This reminds me of that whiskey that we tried when we were stuck in Cornwall, Ontario. Cornwall, Ontario. When the car broke down and we were stuck there at that hotel, and it was like the happening bar was in the basement of the hotel.
That's right.
It wasn't very happening.
And they were saying, it gets pretty raucous by around 9 o'clock. We were the only two people in there, I think.
Well, needless to say, that's what this reminds me of. This is the bourbon version of that.
Okay.
I think this is an easy drink that I'd recommend to almost anybody just getting into it.
Yes.
But it doesn't have that full flavor that I'm passionate about,
yes.
That you start drinking, you appreciate a little bit more. So this is a great, easy drink.
It's very nice. Yeah. I like that. I think that's good. The burn has gone away now, so it's just like, more.
So holidays wise, we're cool.
Yeah.
Right? We tried something different. We went Northern Ontario.
Nice.
Right? And I unplugged.
Oh.
Okay, so I spent very little time online. I did.
Oh, wow,
I
good for
only
you.
checked in like 2 or 3 times, right? And that was only when I needed to get away from the family and I needed an excuse because we were at a cottage on the water and it was beautiful. Yeah. It was like, no. And it's funny. Because it's like, as a creative, sometimes you go searching for creative inspiration, but, as a creative, sometimes it finds you. So we're in this little town in the middle of nowhere. There is a liquor store. Surprise, surprise.
Big time, yeah.
There is a hardware store, a food store.
Oh.
Okay. There was an antique shop.
Oh.
And there was an art gallery. That's it.
That was all?
5 random things, okay? And they don't even really feel interconnected, okay? So in the antique shop, okay, not only do I pick up this awesome, like a graffiti inspired art print that's now going on my wall. It was an original.
Yeah.
The girl says, oh yeah, he's an artist from Toronto and he just randomly drops off stuff here, and it's like, it's totally like, Super Mario themed. It's amazing.
That's cool.
So I picked this up, wasn't even looking to find this, scored awesome there. She had 3 incredible graphic design books. Okay. One was, top 25 graphic designers you need to know.
Oh.
But this book was printed in like 1990, 1995. So it's talking about all these graphic designers that we would never know about because all we do is go search online right now.
Exactly.
Okay. And so it was just, right. It was crazy, right? So needless to say, I picked up these 3 great books, which I loved. And then, randomly I go to the art gallery, meet the owner, okay, because it turns out the owner was the painter, so it was all his own stuff. Talking to the dude, he's been at it for 6 decades, professional artist.
Wow.
All over the world, had exhibits in London, had exhibits in LA. Like the dude was, and the stories. Jeez. So, and here I'm talking to this guy, and this guy was, I think he said he was 74 years old at this point. So he's at the end of his career. But his art, okay, every print in there, $5,000, $8,000, $25,000.
Wow.
He actually, one of his pieces right now, talk about like totally topical, but that picture that you see about like, Trump kind of giving the high five or the fist as he's being pulled off stage.
Right, when he got shot.
He painted that. It looked fantastic.
Wow.
And then I saw the first print of his painting. So he was right on the ball. Jeez. And it was amazing. Like it was real, but you knew it was a painting. It was just, and again, it was neat talking to this dude about, his history and his experiences, right? And he did give me some ideas for future episodes that we talked about. But again, it was just great that, it wasn't all a good story.
Yeah.
Talked about the highs, talked about the lows, the struggling point. It was really, really fucking cool. And then the cottage itself, was great. I can't complain about the cottage. Well, actually, yeah, I can, like
it looked beautiful.
It looked beautiful. And again, even the one video I had, it was a quiet morning. I had a coffee out there, right? It was the very first day. There was a loon sound echoing through it, right? It was like fake. People would probably think that. People would probably be like, oh, yeah, it's not real, man. That's a fake. And I was like, no, this shit's real.
That's Canada, baby.
Right? But the only thing that fucked it up, right? The fucking flies everywhere.
Oh, shit.
Dude, flies, black flies, deer flies. Like we're talking, there were so many flies everywhere that it's just like you're trying to enjoy this awesome experience and you're just like, and
swatting and slapping yourself.
All these things wouldn't leave us alone. And it was really unfortunate because it was kind of putting a real damper on what would be an awesome, otherwise awesome experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so these flies were trolling me. Okay? And they weren't just the flies, the black flies and this and again it's too bad. Because otherwise, you see what I did there?
That is great.
You see what I did there?
This is you're in for a treat,
story though,
people.
guys.
Yeah,
True story.
This is legit. Yeah,
but it's true because it was a really fucking beautiful. Everything else was beautiful except these fucking flies just kind of ruined it, right? Yeah. They ruined so many moments of what would otherwise have been a great experience for me, my family. Going even further, these trolling flies apparently are fucking trolling everybody. Okay? And so that's what we're here to talk about today. Not necessarily trolling flies, but trolls, critics, constructive feedback, all this bullshit.
Oh, nice. Very topical too.
Right. Well, really
because
topical.
Of what we know. Yeah.
Well, and again, I don't know how, obviously one of our friends, Alan Peters, one of the most incredible designers I have ever known. I'm following that dude, the shit that he does. He is on point. Like he's, in my opinion, one of the living greats.
Yeah,
like the shit that Alan is doing and his process and everything he's going, just everything he puts out there. Yeah. It's just like, he's not just winging it.
Nope.
This dude has got thought and logic and this and that. And, it's amazing. And again, I'm holding him in the same regard as Paul Rand, as Massimo Vignelli. And Alan's got a good, 30, 40, 50 years still ahead of him.
He's only 44.
Yes.
I mean, geez, he's young.
So he recently has been putting out this awesome series about, like he'll take a logo.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, you know what? Here is the so-and-so logo, right? This is how I would reimagine it. This is how I would fix it. This is some changes I would do. And he would deconstruct a real logo that we all know, be it the U-Haul logo, be it he had, I think, one of his UPS, one of his customers, right? And he would put the logo down, and the whole, the whole post is the logo's down, and he would not dissect it and be like, oh, this is shit, this is shit, this is shit.
Yes.
But he would do his process out loud.
Yes.
And this is the same process that I would do when I'm doing a logo, you would do, everybody does, right? But he's verbalizing it. Okay. He was helping. I mean, again, it was mind-blowing, right? Because it's just like, yes, that's right, man. Yes. And he's like, this font choice is good, but if this is what we're talking about, add this, right? He redid the Citibank logo.
Right.
And that was, like, wow. But
that's amazing.
He caught something that nobody ever caught. And that's if you change the Citibank C to the same shape that is on the umbrella.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And then you give it a 30-degree turn.
Yes.
It forms a heart.
Oh,
mind-blowing. Honestly, guys, check it out. If you don't even have to check out Allen's if you don't want to, right? Yeah. But just check out the city logo and just imagine the C, on the side, turn it 30 degrees.
Yeah.
It's again, mind-blowing.
It looks amazing too. Like
right? And it does.
He hasn't really fucked it up completely.
It's just a different way of thinking about it.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the brilliance of this series he's doing, right? It's like he's not showing shitty logos and reimagining them. He's taking existing logos that are out there. He's putting his thought process out, how he views, and this is the most amazing educational content I've seen in God knows how long online. Okay. So my hat off to this guy.
Yeah.
And okay, his follow count has gone through the roof because
it's huge.
People have loved this, and there's people who recognize the value that he is putting out there. So love him for that.
Totally.
Go fucking figure. Just like you're at a cottage enjoying this beautiful view,
flies all over him.
There are flies that are just annoying. And the poor guy, okay, granted, he had so much praise and so much great people saying, thank you, I love this is great. Doesn't he have fucking trolls? Trolls that are just out there to get fucking reaction and this, and they're like, how dare you? Who the hell do you think you are? Like, they're taking this to another level as though he was basically proclaiming that these logos are shit.
Yeah.
And whoever did them should die. And his answer is the only answer. The poor guy, Allen, went public and he did a post about like,
I saw that.
Yeah. And it was heartbreaking.
It was very sad.
That you even have to justify.
Yeah.
He was putting out his process.
Yes.
Okay. He was putting out content that was helping and that would help so many hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of designers help verbalize what this kind of, what reimagining a company logo would be like. Like, if you had a project that you had to do and you had to reverbalize, you wouldn't even know where to start. A lot of people are like, well, here's my concept and blah, blah, blah. He breaks it down, right? So he was putting so much value stuff out there that it's just, I don't even have the words to describe how much I appreciate it. And the fact that he was attacked by these fucking twits, for doing this as though he was, dude, I don't even know what to say about it.
That is really sad.
It is.
Is it because of the choice of logos that he's making, do you think? Or what is it?
Apparently people, they were so damn passionate about these fucking logos. They're like, no, there's no such thing as this logo. You cannot do that. And they're going so, the reality is after thinking this through, I don't think it actually was that they were as passionate. Now, granted, some of the shit that was said was just off the wall. It was unnecessary. It was stupid.
Far too far.
But, the more I learn about, fucking trolls, the more I realize that chances are it had nothing to do with him, the context. It was people taking advantage of an otherwise very good situation.
Right.
Okay. Like, they see this guy's getting this praise. And of course, you always have these idiots who have to ruin it. And so, spotting trolls is like, it's not just criticism, right? Because you have the right to disagree with anything, right?
Totally.
But it's like it's provoking or annoying people, right? Being offensive, being disruptive, just to get a reaction.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're just doing shit to get under people's skin.
Right.
And it's really unfortunate because, what they're saying, you can't even say it's positive, criticism because it doesn't provide anything foundational. It doesn't contribute to anything meaningful. It's just like, oh, I can't believe you fucking did that. You suck.
It's an empty threat. Yeah. Like, what kind of constructive part of it? What is that? Like,
right.
You're just not saying anything why he shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
You're just saying he's an asshole for doing this and go to hell.
Right.
Like what the fuck?
We are supposed to, as designers, this is our fucking job, right? To sit there and be able to critique something.
Yes.
You know, it's something called critical thinking, people, right?
Go.
You need to be able to see both sides of the coin. It's a fucking job. If a company comes to you, okay, and they're like, hey, I need you to redesign my logo, my brand, you know, whatever. Here, what are you going to say? Oh, man, that's good. I can't touch that.
This logo's perfect.
No, man. Why do you want? No, I'm not going to fucking touch that, right? And that's the part that pisses me off about this, right? It's because what he was putting out there was, you know, a new way to verbalize, to think, to realize all these little, and so that's the upsetting part of the overall picture.
Yeah.
But then, you know, learning about these trolls, and for the record, these trolls, they also exist in real life. It's not just online. Like, you know, you'll have those people in a meeting and they'll throw out a sarcastic comment just to get, you know, a reaction from people. Sean. You know,
nice watch on you, Moss.
Or you know, social gatherings, a fucking real life troll is that person who always brings up something about religion or politics. Only because they know that shit's going to get a reaction, right? Nothing good, nothing constructive. They just want to stir shit up, right?
Yes, but people.
Fuck, right?
I know.
Or in public spaces, hecklers, you know, people who are, right? Technically, like, these are all fucking trolls, okay? These are people who are just trying to elicit a reaction out of the person, you know, that's in focus right now. And usually it's a person, you know, that's in high regard or the person of focus, right?
Yeah.
And they're not providing anything constructive, or they're not doing anything good other than just causing shit.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And they're getting off on this. The only problem is the difference between the real world and the online ones is the real world, because you can see the person and you can walk up and punch him. You're accountable, right? So they tend to back off a lot easy, but you know, the whole anonymity or whatever it is,
anonymity.
Thank you.
Anonymity
of the web.
Yeah, that's hard.
Tends to make trolls a little bit more aggressive. Things escalate quicker because it's like, well, you don't know where I am. I'm never going to see you. So it's it's all these words. So it really fucking sucks. But, you know, it's like
Skankerbait 79. No one's going to know who the hell that is, right?
It's true. But the thing is, it's really unfortunate because whoever would be the victim of that gets really riled up.
Yeah.
And that's actually that's a horrible thing.
And this is the thing too. It's like coming from because we've talked to Alan, we've interviewed him, and he was a lovely man. There was not a mean bone in that dude's body.
Not at all.
So you could see what he's doing. He's helping, like you said. He's talking through his process, which in our day. How, would you not have given your left nut to see something like that?
You know,
we have
people don't realize how lucky they are.
How lucky to see a great, one of the greats at work, helping you.
Yes. That's it's so true,
and it's
right?
Like this guy is working too, right? Like this is his promotion of himself.
Yes, absolutely.
So he's trying to get business by showing what he's doing. This is how I could help you with a great logo. Maybe yours isn't as great, but this is what I do. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy.
It's stupid, right?
I know.
These people feel that they have this entitlement, you know, and maybe it's not. Maybe they're just looking for attention themselves.
It could very well be that.
Or, you know, very
sad,
well.
Though.
It is sad. Or maybe they're insecure. You know, maybe they're holding back and you know they're projecting their own insecurities onto, you know, they're like, well, fuck, I'm never going to be this good. So how dare you fucking, you know, be like that? I sell logos for $50 a pop. How dare you insult the Nike logo? Which, for the record, he didn't insult. He said the Nike logo was perfect.
He did. He said it was perfect.
Pretty much.
Also, he said there's two versions of it, and he's right. He's not wrong.
That's true. That's
like
true.
Because on the shoes, it has a wider outside.
It
like
does.
It's I mean, you know,
it's like cool. How many people even realize
nobody
that?
noticed that.
Exactly.
But a genius who does logos and brilliant logos for a living is going to notice something like that.
These people tend to crave all these kind of reactions, and it doesn't even really matter about what the nature is.
No.
It just seems like they're there to just stir shit. We've all known people like this, but online, like I said, when they're online, they tend to, well, because, you'll never see them, you don't know them, right? It goes stupid and it's unnecessary.
It is.
The unfortunate, I think the key is you have to be able to spot this kind of stuff.
Can you?
Well, I mean, I think, okay, so again, negative feedback, it always comes back to negative feedback with no constructive criticism.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. If they're just saying something that's not constructive,
Yeah.
in my opinion, okay, so if it doesn't have to do with the job at hand, okay, then it's trolling.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we're talking about, personal attacks.
Yeah.
If it gets personal and they're talking, on the person, not the work themselves, right? That's a fucking troll.
Yeah.
Inflammatory comments, things that are just kind of over the edge. Okay, that's a fucking troll.
Yeah.
Like obviously no constructive view on how to improve the situation or another way to think about it. That's a fucking troll. Yeah. Okay. Obviously if it's just persistent negativity, because again, I know many times you have these conversations and it doesn't change. They're like, no, I don't care what you say. No,
exactly.
Right? Fucking
set in their ways. Yeah.
Right. Again, that's kind of trolling, right? But I think it just pretty much comes out to if it's just irrelevant and off topic, and it's just not not about the project at hand, but they're kind of taking side jabs.
Right.
That kind of is just ultimately it all comes down to if it's not constructive, right? Yeah. Which is and it's unnecessary.
Yes, it's pointless, and it's it's the dumbest thing ever. Like if you're not going to say anything about what is happening here, like why even comment on this?
Why even go through this?
You could say, and I don't know why people are like this anymore. We used to just if you didn't see something or you saw something you didn't like, you'd be like, okay, well that's stupid. I wouldn't do that. And you wouldn't comment on it. But now people are saying awful things. No less.
It's taking it to another level, right?
God.
I think it's hard, even though easier said than done. But it's just I think the key is not to try to take this shit personally. Okay, trolling feedback, not to take it personally. Okay, because obviously you have to understand where these trolls are coming from, right? They're trying to get a reaction out of you. Okay, they're saying this shit just to stir the pot.
Right.
If you ignore them, right, they can't do anything. If you just kind of like don't answer, right? So, I mean, again, they're intentionally trying to get these reactions out of you, right?
Yep.
You have to remember it's not actually about you. It's about them, their insecurities, their whole weird quirks that they kind of, and I think that's key here, right? It's not actually a reflection of you and what you're doing, right? It's 100% a reflection of them and what they're doing.
Right.
Okay. And that's key. Like it's, again, easier said than done because it does stir you up.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to read that shit.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, I mean, that's key, right? It's not you. It's them.
It's them. It's their fault. It shouldn't reflect poorly on you or Alan or whatever, right? Yeah. He's doing a service. He's doing a great thing.
Exactly, right? Like you have to almost think of what your long-term goal is, what you're doing this for, right? And you want to protect that, right? So that's why it's like you can't let these people get under your skin. Obviously it'll get you riled up.
Yeah, obviously enough to get him to post something to say, look, what the hell?
Exactly. Right? But by doing that, not by doing what he did, because what he did was legit, right? Because he saw that shit and it ended up somewhere, and you need to put that out there. But, but by going back and continuing on with this banter with these guys, you're giving them power.
Yes.
And that's what you don't want to do, right? Because I've gotten into those matches with these people. And again, and then I get personal, I get stupid, and I'm snickering, and then I get riled up, and fuck, man, I just want to reach through and just strangle them. But again, it's giving them power.
That's
100%. And that's the thing that you don't want to do, right? So I think there's ways to deal with this shit, and I'm sure everybody, if they haven't already gone through this, they might get this, okay, whether it's in real life or not, right? But like obviously, the easiest thing to do is ignore them. Plain and simple. Don't fucking entertain this shit. Let that post sit there. Who fucking cares? Okay, because if you've got 100 great posts and somebody says something stupid, who fucking cares? Chances are a lot of other people are going to jump in on your behalf or be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Shut up.
Like you're doing this, right?
Exactly.
What I tend to do is I diffuse it with humor.
Yes.
100%,
yes.
right? We've had, you know, like 2 or 3 people comment on, you know, the Angry Designer Road Rage font. Okay. And they're like, it's Road Rage and your name is Angry Design. Like, and like, are we that dumb? And I'm like, I know, right? Like the font looks angry. Our name is Angry. I'm like, but you know, we're stuck with it now. And, you know, I go, but I know, what a stupid decision. And I jump in on it, right? I don't think many people actually care as much as this person did, but they were trying to get me riled up.
Really?
Yeah. And again, and it's funny, and I don't, again, they just diffuse it with humor. You know, do they think it's a stupid choice? Obviously they do, right?
Apparently.
Do I think it's a stupid choice? I think it's pretty funny if you, but again, you jump in on, you know, and just take it lighthearted and be like, whatever, dudes. Like, you know, if you're focusing in on that one little part and that's all you got, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, right? Yeah. We're 200 plus episodes in and, you know, have helped a few people. So good for you for pointing that out, right? Stupid font choice. I know. Now I'm stuck with it.
Oh, idiot. What a bunch of idiots we are.
Obviously, you don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Right? And this is a big thing, right? Again, it's not about you.
Right.
It's, you know, obviously about them, and they're just trying to get a reaction out of you. So you don't do that. And, you know, ultimately, if it gets to the point where it really bothers you, there is no shame in blocking them and even taking it a step further and reporting them if it actually gets really bad. There's no shame in doing that, because again, you know, when you have all these people that are putting positive content out there and they're genuinely trying to, whether you agree with it or whether you don't agree with it, they're actually making an effort to try.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So just fucking, you know, if you don't like it, leave.
Then just leave. This is what I don't understand. That's the kind of stuff where you're just like, I don't know why you have to take time out of your busy schedule, or probably not with these fucking trolls, because they're probably not busy
because they have nothing else to fucking do.
Exactly. Even Fiverr doesn't want their shit.
Apparently not.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, why would you spend so much time
and energy
on saying some negative shit?
It's gotten so easy, dude. And that's the thing, right? I think it's just now for people, it's like, you know, even on your phone in between meetings or whatever, you know, you got 10 minutes to kill and you're like scrolling through something, you know, your lunch hour.
Peters.
Really, right? Like, I think trolling is just a thing that people do. And I mean, let's face it, they're probably pretty fucking miserable people to begin with. I can't imagine that they're positive people with putting out positive energy. I am a huge believer that either you contribute to the greater good of the world,
get the fuck out of the way.
Or you take away from it. And in my opinion, the ones who take away from it, like you said, get the fuck away. Yeah. And I'm teaching my kids that. I'm like, you know, like, how do you gauge who you want to hang out with? Well, the ones that contribute in some way to the greater good, whether it's being positive, smiling, helping, or the ones who are causing shit all the, well, you know, who do you want to hang out with, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of that's whole thing.
Yeah.
The worst part for graphic designers though, okay? The one issue I have though, more than anything, is trolls are giving criticism a really bad rep.
Yes.
Okay. Because the problem is criticism is something that we deal with, you know, as designers.
All the time.
It's an important part of a designer's growth.
Yes.
Okay. But the wrong kind of criticism can shut down a designer, can make designers get bitter, and so that's my ultimate long-term, you know, concern about, you know, internet trolls and how that's actually going is the effect it can have on criticism in general, right? Like, you have to be able to filter all that shit, right? You have to filter the criticism that you're seeing or hearing outside, right? And decide what is actually constructive and what is destructive. The destructive stuff, you need to just kind of push aside, right? You just need to like kind of throw that out, because, you know, not all criticism that you'll get in your hearing, right, is actually bad. A lot of it is actually very good. And it's part of our world.
It is. It's very helpful.
Yeah. Well,
in many cases,
there is a difference between, you know, trolling, you know, trolls and constructive criticism, right?
Right.
Trolls, they fucking disrupt. They say shit. They're provoking, right? And there's no value to what they're saying. Right. Okay. Yeah. Where constructive criticism actually helps you improve.
Yes.
You know, it helps you improve something specific, you know, okay, granted, you know, sometimes it may be respectful, sometimes it may not be respectful based on how the person's delivery is of it. But the reality is we need to be able, as designers, to filter out the difference between the two types of criticism, because in all fairness, I know we always joke about clients' opinions and constructive criticism and all that shit, but the reality is constructive criticism is how designers grow.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's I think that's the whole fucking whole key about this, right? And I think that's the unfortunate part, because trolls are just taking all criticism. They're making all criticism. They're giving it all bad. And granted, we can joke about it being bad. We're designers. We're entitled to, but it's not actually the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And trolls will go nuclear right off the bat. Like it's not
right off the bat, right?
There's no reason for why they're saying what they're saying. It's just like, you're an idiot. Well, why? What's wrong with this? What you tell me? I'd like to know. I'd like to know.
Look at you looking all hot and all shit,
exactly.
thinking that you know it all, right?
Well, no. Why?
So I kind of broke this down into 4 different things, right? The difference between constructive criticism and trolling based on intent, focus, tone, and outcome.
Oh.
Okay? So intent, trolls, okay, they try to provoke, to annoy, to disrupt, honestly, for their own sick amusement. Nothing more. Okay? Seriously. Fucking bunch of sickos. Yeah. It's true, though. It's true. It's true. Where constructive criticism, okay, obviously, we'll couch it with, even though the delivery might not be the greatest, it's somehow aimed to help you improve what you're doing at something, on something specific. Okay. Whether it's an insight, whether it's a suggestion, but that's the intent of the two. Okay.
Yeah.
The focus of trolls, okay, is often irrelevant. It's attacking.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's nothing constructive about it.
Right.
Okay. That's their focus. Where the focus of constructive criticism usually targets an aspect of the work, and it's almost like to elicit some sort of actionable outcome.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
If a customer says, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, that almost could be trolling, but it's like, it feels too busy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good feedback.
Yes.
That's constructive. We might not like to hear that.
Exactly.
But, okay. So then, the outcome there, their focus is it looks too busy. How do we fix that? Okay.
Right.
The tone of trolls, often negative.
Yep.
Hostile, okay? Sarcastic, designed to upset or, distract, okay? People's attention to something positive to what they're commenting. Exactly, right? Where the tone for constructive criticism generally is a little bit more respectful, generally professional, okay? And, even unfortunately if it's direct and blunt, okay, it's couched in that whole
right. It's for the greater good. For your good, basically. Yeah. And the client.
And then the outcome. Yep. Okay. The outcome generally that trolls try to get, there's no outcome. There's no value to what they're giving you, right?
No.
It's only causes frustration and distraction to the bigger picture. Where if it's actually constructive criticism, okay, the outcome helps you grow and helps you refine your skills.
Yes.
Okay. Even though sometimes it's hard to see in the rage that you're getting when your customer tells you to make the logo bigger, but for some reason or not, the intent there is to help you grow and refine your skills to one point or another, right? Which ultimately does lead to better work.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Whether it's better for the customer because they're happier, better sometimes because they've pushed you to a new direction that you initially didn't like, but you ended up getting there. So there is an intent there.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference between the two of those, right? But the reality is there is so much value in constructive criticism that it is, like it or not, part of, the job.
It is. Yeah.
It's part of what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Because it identifies areas of improvement, right? Aspects of the work that maybe you can fix up or whatever, right? Again, we talked about challenges to grow, right? I mean, so many times I've received shit from customers and it makes me angry, but then it makes me rethink it begrudgingly.
Yes.
Initially begrudgingly.
Yes.
But in the end.
Yeah. You go, well, they kind of had a point to that, right?
I hate to say that, right?
Exactly.
It makes you think more critically about the shit that you're actually working on, which is important, right? Yeah. And then it does actually give you new perspectives, okay, on what it is that you're working on. Like for me, most recently, we're talking about this literally happened 2 weeks ago. Customer gave me feedback and they're like, no, they all look the same, right? We're creating social posts for them, and they're like, no, they all look the same. And I was enraged. Dude, I was just livid. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They all look the same. They're like, well, they all have the same flow, theme, whatever. And I'm like, fuck, whatever. Go back, changed, all 12 of them, right? To be different.
Yeah.
12 different social posts, made them all different. Okay. Client's like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like pissed off. I'm like, yeah, you just like it because you got your fucking way. You just like it. Then, lo and behold, this, that, I was able to take a look at them side by side.
Yeah.
And, honestly, I looked at them critically. And then I was like, wow, actually, the new versions, okay, did what I wanted to accomplish, which was create an overall larger brand.
Yep.
Okay. There was a brand consistency, there was because of how we went about them, but it wasn't so blatantly in your face as the first concept. So ultimately, in the end, I was like, wow, you know what? Like, I don't want to admit to it, but their feedback that pushed me, and it pissed me off, dude. Dude, I'm telling you, I must have had 2 or 3 drinks just because of that one remark and this. But the outcome was a better quality product in the end. That's
the difference from trolls, right? A troll wouldn't be.
You're right.
Wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, mine's perfect. This is perfect." You don't mess with that shit. You know what I mean? Like, you actually have to come back. Sometimes you have to look at things. You have to do things a couple of times, maybe, in order to get the vibe of what's going on.
Right? It gets you out of your comfort zone.
It does.
And, there's nothing wrong with. We would become very entitled as designers if we started feeling everything that we did the first time was perfect. Think about it. We would never grow as a designer if every time we created something, somebody was like, "Fantastic!
This is perfect.
You're amazing. You're a genius. I love what you do." Because the reality is, then it's like we would plateau at that, and we would be doing the same shit over and over and over again. Okay, we would be pushing ourselves maybe to a minimal level just to try something new, just to appease our own boredom. But the reality is, when they push us out of our comfort zone, okay, granted, we may not like to hear it.
That's right.
Okay. The reality is, it makes you rethink everything you're doing, your approach, your angle, well, how can I address what they're doing or what they want, but still make it good to me?
Right.
And that's the key, right? You still have the final sign off on the creative. So you can't fucking give up. Like, you can't just be like, oh, fuck, just slap it on there like he asked and we'll show him. Short relationship, if that's the case.
Big time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it pushes you out of your comfort zone, which then forces you to rethink the same project over and over, which more times than not ends up with a better final product. Not to say that happens every time.
No.
Sometimes you're going to have idiot customers. You'll never make them happy.
But the funny thing with that is like, I always look at it like, your clients, they sometimes don't know what they want either. So when you show them what you think it was, their very shitty brief was they're like, okay, that's close, but that's not what I want. And their constructive criticism will allow you to kind of get into more of the space that they're looking for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have to come to terms with the fact, and I think the seasoned designers know this. The younger designers who are coming up, an important part of how successful you are in this career, what your lifespan is, what your career journey looks like, is how thick of a skin you can start developing, right? How resilient can you be to the comments and shit? Because the reality is, you're going to hear comments whether you ask for them or you don't ask for them. That's the reality, right? But building resilience in this industry is key to being a successful designer. Absolutely. And nobody can disagree with that, because it goes right back to being that we don't always have the answer first time.
The first time, yes.
At the first time, right?
Exactly.
Like it or not, our work is always critiqued. And oftentimes by people that we don't respect or like, but we still have to listen because they're signing our paychecks.
That's right.
They're paying our bills, and we're like, oh, fuck this guy, I tell you, right? But we are constantly getting feedback on our ideas, our work. We're getting criticisms, right? Doesn't mean we like it.
Nope.
But it's part of the job. And if you take it the right way, it helps you in this job.
Yes.
If you take it the wrong way.
You're just going to
Your career's short.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll eat you up.
It will, right? You're not gonna want to stick through this, right? Can you imagine like what the mental health issues would be like? This?
Horrible.
If you just constantly believe that you were right and everybody's against you. And how many designers are like that?
Yes, and you took that inflexibility with you wherever you went. Right. You would die. Your head would explode because like you cannot work in this space and not take criticism.
Dude, rejection is so fucking common in this space, and people need to be cool with that shit.
Yep.
Right? I mean, again, it's like, man, if I could somehow combine like rejection as a teenager, versus graphic design now, I feel like there's some sort of story here. There's an episode somehow.
There's a relationship.
My teenage rejection, correlated to me being a better graphic designer. Happened a lot both times, but needless to say, like it's rejection is so common, and it's hard, not to take it personal. Because
it is, yeah.
Personal work,
yeah.
Right? If it's personal work, because we're creating it, we're not turning a widget, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's coming from us, we're vulnerable.
Yep.
Right? And because we're vulnerable, we take it more offensively. So if you don't start developing that thick skin, dude, you're gonna feel like you suck. It's gonna mess you up on so many levels. So the sooner and the thicker your skin can get, damn, dude, it's a benefit to this.
Yeah,
absolutely,
big time.
Yeah. I'm going to take another drink.
Okay.
Just because Jefferson is going down really easy. And apparently I have a lot to say about the subject.
Wow.
So with this whole criticism shit, there are ways to take the sting out of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you understand the intention. Number one, obviously, if you just embrace and accept the fact that you are going to be shat upon every single time.
You're a moving target as a designer.
But really, like you need to, view this as a tool for feedback.
Yeah.
It's growth for feedback, right? Like this is something that happens, right? So even though I understand that we're creating stuff and it makes us vulnerable, right? Mm-hmm. You really have to detach yourself from it. Okay. Because it's a business after that first concept, right? Like, that whole like kill it and bill it concept, right? Yeah. So it's like you can put your heart, your soul into that first concept that you do, right? That's you.
Yeah.
Okay. You're giving that. Okay. As soon as you hand that over, there's going to be revisions to that. Mm-hmm. Detach yourself from that point forward and realize now from this point forward, it's a business.
Yep.
Okay. Customers going to want different points. They're going to want to change, the logo size. They're going to want to, and now it's not art.
Yes.
Okay. Now
that's it.
Right.
It's not art.
It's not.
That was a thing that I learned a long time ago. Was
exactly
like, this is not a painting.
Yes.
This is a business.
So stop being precious about it. Exactly. Right.
Yes.
You can be precious about that first concept.
Yeah.
And maybe if they say they hate it, okay, fine. Then that one can that one stings.
That stings, especially if you really like it. Like there's some things that you put out like. This is good. This is not my best. But then there's some things you put out is like, fuck, this is cool.
I know those ones.
I hope this works.
I know. Hey, that's why we always do give them one level better than what they have.
Exactly.
Take them to the next level, and then they're fucking wild ass concepts.
Blow away.
And then it's just like you get 3 different variations, and they kind of go with that. But it's true. Like you need to accept the fact that there is criticism.
Yeah.
Okay. So that first concept, you put your heart and soul into the first one, and then just detach yourself from it thereafter, and realize it's a business decision from that point forward for you to either comply or not. You can jump on board, take the criticism, constructive criticism, and make adjustments from that. Well, I mean, you can mope and cry and be a baby about it, or you can be a business person from that point forward and make the suggestions, make the effort, realize now it's business, okay, and get it to that stage where the client's happy, done. Okay. So again, you have to expect that, right? Mm-hmm. You need to focus on the long-term goals of what you have. And if you're just in this day in, day out, you don't give a shit, well then fine. You have no long-term goals and your career will be like 2, 3, 4 years tops.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are looking to be art director, creative director, founder of your own agency, right? Well, again, keep your eye on that ball. But the reality is, you are going to be a different person, long term than you were when you started. I guarantee you, Massimo, Z Factor 1 to 3 years into it. Okay, I had a really bold in your face style. And, I thought I had all the answers back then.
Yeah.
But when I look now at some of my early stuff, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's, it was a lot of the rejection. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of the making pushing, redeveloping, redesign, and then learning how business operates. That made me a better designer, design after design after design, client after client after client, right? Yep. So you need to, look on that long-term goal, right? Of course, if it really bums you out, we've got so many damn communities right now, between Reddit and between the podcasts and friends, right? So, surround yourself with people, that you can actually bitch at or get feedback from or see if you're actually off your rocker or not, right? Honestly, continuously keep working at this. Yeah. Right? Yeah. To keep working your solution through. And then last but not least, if it is too much for you, if the feedback that you're getting is too much, take a fucking break. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Take an easy job next or, do some easy work. Just, shut up and just kind of do as you're told for a week or two and let yourself calm back down until you're ready to kind of give it another go. Yep. But there are ways that you can, accept, the feedback that you're getting so it doesn't sting so much every time. And I think that's key because, preciousness in this space doesn't last, and it won't. And if you genuinely want a long career in design, Massimo Vignelli didn't always get his way. Yeah. If you hear his story, it's kind of like the initial stages. Man, that guy got kicked around like a soccer ball,
big time. Yeah,
he did, right? Yeah. But it was finally when he
did it help him. You think?
Do you think? And that's it, right?
Was he good? I don't know.
And that's what people don't get.
This is the thing.
The greats aren't great from birth.
Not from,
The greats are great from being battled around.
Gritty, yes.
Exactly.
It's hard.
And you're getting rejection. You're getting criticism. You're being told what to do, how to do, where to do it. But you'll get to a point where you'll hear less of that and more applause for everything that you're actually trying to give out. So that's key for this.
Can I add another one on there?
Yeah.
A personal project.
Oh,
if you're not getting
dude.
fed with what your work is doing, do something for yourself on the side. If you have the time, that's always a good thing.
Dude, you're right. You're right.
It's
you're
like a nice creative little thing.
You've been working on your band stuff lately, right? And
geez, have you seen that? Oh, sorry.
No, but I've seen that. But again, and the nice thing is, it's like my opinion doesn't matter in that because it's your personal project.
No, but it would. Like I would certainly, when I'm done, when I've figured it out, I will certainly come to you and say, what's wrong with this? And then you can say, and you always do, you always point out what the weird parts are.
Dude, but I love the stuff that you're doing, right?
But I know, but I look at it and I'm thinking, when you say that, I'm like, yes, that's it. So that's the kind of constructive criticism that really works. Instead of you saying, that looks like shit, and then walking away.
Hope you don't play drums as shitty as you graphic design.
Exactly. What are you thinking? And then leave. Like, that would be horrible,
That's so true, right? No, man, I love watching your stuff. That's fun. Shit. I mean, again, it's just cool because it's stuff that we don't get.
That's the thing.
We don't get to do
you don't get to do weird shit like that. Yeah. But it helps you. It feeds your creative baby soul.
Absolutely.
And as while you're doing the corporate stuff. And it helps you with the corporate stuff because it puts you right back into it.
Puts you right back into it. Right? Yeah, you're right. That's actually a really smart one. Just get out there and get your own personal. And God knows I have so many damn personal projects.
This is it. And it helps, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it really does on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Cool. So listen, again, we always want to leave you guys with something. Okay. So what I want to do is leave you 7 steps on how to actually leverage constructive criticism. Okay. Because again, everybody has an issue with it. I remember reading a Reddit post and the guy's like, graphic designers love criticism. And he was going on complaining about, how he wants to get out of the space because he doesn't like criticism and graphic designers love it. And then, I was a troll. No, I wasn't a troll. I wasn't a troll. But I jumped in on that one. I'm like, you obviously got this wrong because graphic designers don't love criticism in any which way, shape, or form, but it is part of what we do in our path to being greater.
Yeah.
So fuck you. Yeah. You're obviously an entitled baby. And that was me trolling. You're obviously an entitled baby who just graduated and expecting the world to give you everything you want. And he was. 100% he was. Graduated. That's the whole thing. Brand new, right? So, damn, that one really pissed me off. So, but the reality is, it's not that we love it, but the thing is, we need to leverage it. Okay, we need to leverage it to make us better than what we actually are. Okay, So, number one, you need to listen carefully. This goes with the whole filter thing, okay? Filter out the bad, keep the good, and actually focus on what they're actually saying, right? And what, don't get defensive, because God knows I get so defensive. I want to rip out customers, when I hear what they say. But then I pause. Yeah. Thank God I don't hit send.
That's right.
After those nasty emails. You don't know who I am. What am I doing? I've been doing this longer than you've been out of diapers, damn it. Anyway. But the reality is, it's like then you pause and you see what the actual comments are, right? You filter through that shit, okay? Yeah. If you need clarity, okay, people are scared to ask. So ask. Yeah. Ask them for clarity. Yeah. What exactly did you mean by, this statement? There's nothing wrong with asking for clarity. And I mean, one comment and I love my staff, but I constantly get this, what should we do? And my response is, ask the customer. Like you're asking me to decipher a weird cryptic thing that they're saying in their email. Yeah. I don't fucking know. Ask them. There's nothing wrong with asking the customer for clarity. Yeah. I don't understand what that issue is. Yeah. So I can't really give any other advice other than ask them, for fuck's sake.
Exactly. Right? It's the clearest path
to
figuring it out.
Number 3, spot patterns if there are. If, week after week, month after month, you're hearing something that sounds very similar, okay, realize that it actually might be something about the way you're approaching the project, okay? Again, this is a huge, huge learning opportunity. Mm-hmm. If they're constantly saying, could you make the text a little bigger? Can you make the text a little bigger? Guess what?
You're going too small all the time.
You're starting at 10 points. Yeah. And again, this is supposed to be minimum 16, 18 points. Yeah. So, or cut back on this or make it more vibrant, right? Look for those patterns, because those are critical to constructive criticism moving forward, right? Prioritize the main points what they have. So you don't have to necessarily do everything that they ask. Yeah. Okay. And that's often a beautiful way of getting around it. I'm like, no, I kind of like that I did that, so I'm going to ignore that. But prioritize the most important parts of the criticism. Right. Because then it might help them realize, or might help you leverage the parts that you want to keep. Right. Okay. Yeah. Implement those changes. Implement them. Yep. Okay. Implement the changes, and then make sure that you let your customers realize that they're being heard. Yeah. Okay. But implement them as best as possible. Yeah. Okay. To the way that you know how. Experiment a little bit. Use their feedback a little bit. And they said make the title bigger. Yeah. Well, fucking try to make it huge. Yeah. Experiment. Don't just raise it up 20% because you're begrudgingly doing what they're saying. Yeah. Maybe reimagine what it could look like if it was gigantic, or a big word, right? Experiment with the feedback. And, last but not least, after the project goes, after it's done and the customer's happy and the project is finished, review what happened, okay? And this helps you see the patterns that you're doing, okay? Right. So, this is an important way of absorbing constructive criticism to become a better designer. Yeah. Okay. These are huge. They're things that we just do subconsciously. Yeah. Once you've been doing this for 10, 20 years, right? Exactly. But that, early on feel very offensive. Yes. Feel very discouraging. Don't get discouraged. No. Criticism, constructive criticism is part of the job. Trolling is not. No. But, trolling is part of the world right now that we're living in. Sadly. And constructive criticism has been around forever. So, don't be scared of it, right? Embrace it and use it as, guideposts, as a path to helping yourself become a better designer moving forward. Right. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, that's very good. I learned a long time ago that there's a lot of shit that I don't know. Well, you know what I mean? And it's always good to be open to.
At what point do you think that you realize that? Because I mean, again, starting out,
I still am that way.
Really?
Oh my God! This job, you learn something new every fucking day.
Really.
It's absolutely insane. Like it's just it's crazy. And Pinterest and
humbles Dribble
you
a lot right
and
now,
things like that.
Yeah.
Really kind of teach you a lot of. They're inspirational things, and they give you ideas of like, oh, well, what if you try something not as zany and crazy as that, but you know what I mean? Something a little microcosm, smaller version of what this dude was kind of doing, right?
Interesting.
So, but yeah, I think that's the beauty of this space is like
we're constantly.
You're always kind of open to new things. If you're open, you have to be open to it, and that's the critical part. If you can't take any kind of criticism about this kind of stuff, you're never going to learn anything new.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like you're right. It's absolutely part of this job, and it's a good thing that it's part of this.
I agree. Right. Because again, unlike other trades and other jobs out there,
that's right.
Same thing day in, day in, day. We are constantly being pushed to grow on a regular basis. That's the best part about this job.
Totally, yeah.
Right?
Some Karen's going to come along and tell you hung her cupboards wrong.
Yeah.
Well, you probably did because there's one way to hang cupboards, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No brainer, right?
Yeah, exactly. But there's way many more times how we can do things here in our space.
This is that one space where constructive criticism, is opportunity for growth.
Yes.
Not just,
not bringing you down or just pain in the ass customer. Yes.
Like it's like, this actually, they might be onto something. And I still to this day, begrudgingly at first, and I will be the first to admit it, that when a customer sends me back feedback and I don't like that feedback, I get angry. I do. I literally type out that email. Thank God I don't put their name in there, because sometimes if I was to hit send, I'd probably lose a lot of customers. I do. I put it out there. I breathe. I get it all out.
That's the old guy in us.
And then I go back.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. Yeah. What exactly are they getting at?
Yes.
And then I go through it. And in the end,
you're like, oh,
I do have a better product.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Fucking time and time again.
Exactly.
So, I question anybody. Like, again, being a designer isn't freedom.
Yeah.
It's
not.
That's the worst thing in the world, right?
If you want that, you go paint.
Yes, be an artist, right?
Be an artist.
If that's the case. Yes. Being a designer is being as creative as you can be within the brief.
Yeah.
So think outside the box, but inside the brief.
Inside the brief.
Right? And that's what we have to remember, that we do have guidelines to follow.
That's right. And that is another great part of what this job is you've got those confines and you've got to make something fucking awesome.
Oh, I love that.
Inside of that.
I love that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Ooh.
That's the best part. I agree.
I
agree.
Because I hate wide open spaces. Like somebody says, go nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
I get scared. I'm like, I wonder where it starts. Agreed.
This is good.
Well,
this
you know what?
great.
I kind of feel like,
it's a sad thing.
It's a sad thing how we got to this point.
I know.
And of course, I want you guys to go show love to our boy, Alan. You know what I mean? Because again, he's one of the most incredible fucking graphic designers I have ever been able to talk to, be around, absorb his wowness.
Yes. And literally one of the nicest people
my God,
I've ever talked to in my entire life.
Exactly.
He's a beautiful human
but
being.
He's giving out so much, and it's just unfortunate, what that whole experience had played out. But at the same time, I want people to understand that there is value in constructive criticism.
That's right.
Right? And that's, I think, the moral of this all. And he is obviously, he's rattled, but he isn't giving up, man.
He's not giving up.
And that's key. He has developed that thick skin.
Yep.
He knows what the bigger picture is. He has exemplified everything that we have said here on how to get over this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And he is like that beacon of what we should all aspire to.
Exactly.
And that's my attitude towards this.
Yeah.
So, fuck them.
Yeah, that's right.
And do this.
And honestly, we are all for the better. We're all benefiting from what he is doing. Like I'm telling you, it would have been awesome to have that 40 years ago.
Oh my
somebody
God,
telling
I
you
wish,
how to,
right?
what his creative
how to
process.
rethink this, how to talk this
God,
through.
like that's so good.
I know, right? The dude rocks.
We should not criticize this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. You know what? By all means, hit us up. Troll us. Okay, fucking tell us how we suck, make fun of our beards, our bellies, our choice in whiskeys. I don't fucking care. Bring it on. Let's have some fun with this.
Hey, not the weight.
Hey.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
Anyway, needless to say, hit us up on our Instagram because that's where our conversations are biggest, of course. But we're also on YouTube if you want to see this beauty that is us. That's pretty scary. But most importantly, in our mission to slowly start planning on building the best graphic design newsletter, hit our website, drop us your information, your email, your name, and just be like, yes, I want in. Because honestly, I'm looking for a really strong graphic design newsletter. I'm not seeing one yet. So, I think there's an opportunity here, and I'd love to know what you guys think. So I think that's pretty much it. Yes. All right. With that being said, everybody, my name is Massimo.
My name is Sean.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.